Hello everyone. I know that there is consideration regarding the expulsion of a particular student. I would like to address this and discuss why we should not expel this student and ways in which we can address this student's behavior, as well as other instances of discipline moving forward that will benefit our students, as well as build a better school climate. Plain and simple expulsions do not work. We want disciplinary measures that elicit a change in our students so that they decide to change their own behavior. The fact is, expulsions only remove children from their learning environments without any opportunity to learn from their disruptive conduct. Furthermore, according to the United States Department of Education and Office of Civil Rights, Black students are more than 3 times as likely as their white peers to be expelled or suspended. So we cannot ignore the fact that we are considering expelling a Black student. We need to ask ourselves, are our disciplinary measures even warranted, or are we acting from a place of bias? Why are we disciplining our Black students at a much higher rate than our white students, especially when we consider that our student population is only 5% Black? An incredible number of studies show that students who are subjected to these kinds of exclusionary discipline have an increased likelihood of coming into contact with the juvenile justice system or being arrested. By expelling students, we are funneling them into the school to prison pipeline. We need to reassess and hold a discussion of our school's discipline from a life course perspective. To date, we know that this particular student's behaviors have not impacted other students. I understand that some staff have expressed concerns about this student and their behavior. Because these concerns are at odds with what is being experienced by our student body, I think it's necessary to come to a better standing of the issue at hand. Rather than take this student from their learning environment, I think it would be more helpful to hold a meeting with the student utilizing restorative practice. This meeting would include the student, their parents, a mediator, and administration. Restorative practices are not just about correcting a wrong, they are intended to bring understanding and change from everyone involved. A restorative discussion would incorporate the student sharing their version of events, what they were thinking, and their intent, as well as an opportunity to reflect on the event. This would also include administration and their understanding of the events, as well as an opportunity for them to reflect. It would also provide an opportunity for the student to demonstrate understanding and take accountability for their actions, whether or not those actions warranted discipline. It would also allow for us and the student to explore how the situation can be rectified by both parties. We could also discuss the skills and support needed in order to move forward and ensure that future misunderstandings don't occur. Staff could also take this time to discuss what can be done to support the student in order for the student to be successful in the future. Overall, I feel like this is a very strengths-based perspective that works in the favor of student and school. Restorative practices will really ensure that we are taking care of our students, not keeping them out of the learning environment. In terms of what this would look like school-wide, it can be adopted at all 3 tiers. So at tier 1, it involves a more robust social-emotional curriculum, as well as community building with our students. At tier 2, this is where restorative discipline and support would come in. This is what the conversation with the student I mentioned earlier would come into play. And at tier 3, this would be more intensive support, such as mental health services or time with the social worker. As educators, I know that we are all here because we believe in providing the best opportunities for our students and meeting their needs from a place of understanding and empathy. I know many of you personally, and you are some of the kindest, most dedicated educators, but we also must acknowledge that even as educators, we have gaps in our knowledge. In terms of next steps, it is necessary to provide ourselves with an opportunity to learn. For this reason, I recommend implementing training for our staff in implicit bias to foster a school climate that is inclusive and aware of biases. This will decrease the number of exclusionary discipline outcomes before we begin implementing a restorative practice curriculum. And it will ensure that we're not harming our students of color, especially as a result of our own bias. I am open to holding a discussion on other professional development opportunities that would address this need, and I hope that we can move forward as a school with better practices that help our students. Thank you for your time.